I got that holy swag. Woo, woo, yeah. I got that holy swag. Yeah, look, I got that holy swag. Whoa, I got that. Hey, reach for greatness, step right up on them and seat the haters. We get recognition, be at the peak of your pinnacle. Never believe you can't get where you wanna be to beat them fakers. There's a blessing God gave you, face it. Life ain't gotta rewind, put a better word for what you want, don't be complacent. Get on the grind, go and get it when you're given the time. It's all in the mind, you were your only enemy. Ain't nobody stopping your shine. You got it, just gotta keep trying. Cause even the underrated find a way to get higher. To bring out the fire, to sparking the light, to ignited it out that was crossing the line. Facts.
All right, welcome back. So I have today, Ebony, just introduce yourself, girl. We can talk about us later, but
Lord. Well, hey everybody, I am Ebony Enchantment McCovery, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Atlanta adopted me for a while, but DC is where I call home currently. I am a licensed social worker in the District of Columbia and the state of Maryland. I am a certified mental health first aid instructor. I am a proud Black woman. I am, you know what I'm saying, anything that I want to be and everything that I can be. But most importantly, I am a child of the Most High. I am a believer. That's just me in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying?
yes, ma'am.
I'm happy to be here too with my girl. You know what I'm saying? On Swag on Point TV,
Okay.
This is like my first professional anything. So I'm excited, girl. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, I feel like you personally just have a story and a journey that really inspires. Like, it has inspired me, even from being, so y'all just putting it out there. We went to middle school together.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about age and all those kind of things, but just know we stayed connected throughout this time, and I'm grateful that we did because, like I said, you just have one of those journeys that is just so inspiring. And so you said Atlanta adopted you for a while. What was going on in Atlanta?
So right after high school, I moved to Atlanta for college, and I stayed there to obtain my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. So I got 2 degrees from the same school. Shout out to the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. I got my bachelor's degree in psychology in 2014, and then I got my master's degree in social work in 2017. But the entire time I was in Atlanta, always tell younger people, like, I go back home all the time as much as I can. And as much as I can, I like to reach young people who are where I'm from, because somebody entered one of my classrooms when I was in middle school and in high school, and it was somebody that looked like me, somebody that sounded like me, somebody who described life circumstances that were similar to the ones that, I had to live through an experience growing up. But they came back and they gave back. And the way that they gave back, it wasn't necessarily money, it wasn't necessarily a resource, but they gave back by way of inspiring me and others, encouraging others. And for that reason, I always tell younger people when I see them, especially in Milwaukee, they in high school, middle school, whatever, I'm like, listen, if you can, try to leave home. And if you are Black, go to an HBCU, because leaving home, it put me in a position where I had no choice but to mature in some ways. Leaving home, it helped me gain a sense of self and a sense of independence that I now value, because it's people who are my age. When I got to school, I immediately got involved in stuff that not only challenged me, but required me to maintain a certain GPA level. So if I wanted to participate, if I wanted to belong to this, if I wanted this access, I had to be responsible. I had to exercise some type of discipline, because people can go off to college and do a whole lot of partying. People can go off to college and do a whole lot of everything except for college.
Talk about it.
Not to say that I've been some saint or that I am some saint. Not to say that I ain't never been to a party, no fraternity house or nothing, because I did, and I was. You know what I'm saying?
Turn up.
But the things that I became involved with, the people who I attach myself with, because you go to a place and you by yourself, right? You either gonna stay and sit with yourself and by yourself, or you're gonna branch out and you're gonna meet people, and those people that I was branching out to so much. I seen so much. In order for me to not be lonely or not be by myself, I was forced to socialize and meet new people, and in socializing and meeting new people, I became involved in things. And like I said, those things that I was involved in, they helped shape my character. They helped me form relationships and bonds that I still am, reliant upon and grateful for, because not only have they helped advance, my education, but they helped advance my professional life. They have helped advance my character. And I just got some really good friends out of the deal. The things that I was involved in, I was pushed to always be my best and always do my best. So I don't have a college dropout story. That's not my story. You know what I'm saying? I learned to do good and be great. That's my mantra. Do good and be great, because when you do, your blessings flow. But had I not, had the courage and the faith to leave what was comfortable, leave what was familiar, leave what was secure in my young 18-year-old mind, who knows what I would not have experienced or would not have accomplished or would not have escaped. Because the reality is, where we come from, you are born a statistic. You know what I'm saying? You Black, you born in America's most segregated city. You Black and you born in a city with the highest rate of incarceration for Black males. And my father, a two-time felon, you know what I'm saying? Spent the first 11 years of my life incarcerated. I could have easily been like everything and everybody else had I decided to stay in what is comfortable, what is familiar, what makes sense to me, what is affordable. Because people tell you to go to HBCUs and people tell you to move away, but the reality is that costs money. That cost money. Could have been the reason why I said I can't go. So I am a person who strongly believes in having faith and trust in God. Like, I believe that is the foundation of all of our stories. That's the foundation of your purpose. I haven't always felt like I know my purpose. I haven't always felt like I have been close to God. In fact, because of how I grew up, like my father converted to Islam when he was in prison. Mm-hmm. My father is a Muslim, you know what I'm saying? My mom is a Christian, but my parents never made me subscribe to one thing over the other. They never made me believe in one thing over the other. And so because of that, I had to learn God and faith for myself. But it came through the experiences that I had. How does a girl who get dropped off in Georgia by her parents and I don't know family, I don't know cousins, I'm there by myself, but within a week, I was chosen to be the freshman induction speaker for our freshman induction ceremony. A few weeks after that, I was invited to actually take my first 18 years old, first plane ride. And my first plane ride was paid for by the president of my university, who heard me speak at the freshman induction ceremony and said, hey, well, it's a college tour, it's a Fresh Coast Classic or something in Milwaukee, and our school is going to be there, so I want her to come. How I even ended up at Clark Atlanta University, I was skipping class in a hallway, and I walked past, it was like towards the end of my junior year, and I walked past a teacher's classroom. This teacher happened to be a Black woman. She happened to put on a college tour every year. I had never went. Why? Because of money and circumstance, right? But she saw me walking in the hallway. She could have chastised me. She could have called security on me. She could have got me in trouble. Instead, she invited me into her classroom on her planning period, and she asked me, did I know what college I wanted to go to? And I wasn't thinking about it like, you know, she said, come back to me. Like, read this, come back to me, and just tell me, you know what I'm saying, if you find any schools in there that you like. I went back to her classroom at the beginning of my senior year. And I told her, like, these are the, like, I read the book that you gave me, and these are the schools that I'm interested in. And she said, well, look at God. My college tour this year is visiting Clark Atlanta and Tuskegee and another one of the schools that was on my list. And she said, and you know what? If you apply to those schools and if you get in, you can go on a college tour for free. How could I not believe in God? Because, like, after, you know, like, just so many things occurred. We were on the college tour, and we were in a student center at Clark Atlanta, and this group of just, like, beautiful Black women just walked in. They walked in the building, and literally everybody stopped moving. Everybody stopped moving, and everybody just started, like, staring at them, and all, they sat down in this little fancy way, and I'm just like, who is the, like, at the time, you know, they was giving, like, Beyonce vibes. So I'm like, who is this? And our tour guide said, oh, that's Miss Clark Atlanta University and her royal court. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be Miss Clark Atlanta University. And my teacher standing beside me, love him to death, Mr. Thomas Wow, he said, you will. And do you know, 4 years later, they brought another group of students back the day after I won Miss Clark Atlanta University. You know, so I've just had a lot of experiences, a lot of times being exposed to God's love, God's care. Like I said, even when it was hard, because again, I didn't grow up in a household. Like, I have friends now who, like, grew up in the church, and they like, yeah, we had to sit through 7 services, and yeah, I couldn't watch BET, and yeah, I couldn't listen to X, Y, and Z, and yeah, and your mama come in your room at 2 a.m. with blessing oil and just douse it. Like, I didn't have those experiences, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, like, so
what made you find God for yourself? I mean, like you just said, like, through your experiences with not, you know, being even raised in a quote unquote Christian household, what was it for you that was like, you know what? I'm rolling with God, and that's it. That's all. No matter where I come from, because I will definitely say this, like, anybody that's listening at this time knows and should be able to identify favor is on your life, my dear. And so, but favor is not always fair. And like you even just mentioned, taking those experiences, I could have very well stayed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where life was comfortable. I mean, 10 years have passed, Ed, and it's like, at any given moment, my parents still tell me to this day, if you want to move back home, you can. And I'm like, thanks.
No thanks.
But I'm good. Because I know it's more for me in this life, you know. And I guess just to someone out there listening today, just know, like, you don't have to stay complacent in what's comfortable. You can venture out, you can go forward. I feel like that's really how we find we find that God. So what was it for you that made you want to have a relationship with God?
It was probably actually a few things. Like it was a few, because I feel like faith can sometimes ebb and flow. You know what I'm saying? As we have different experiences and whatever, but a few points that I can definitely pinpoint that was like, all right, so boom, this must have been New Year's Eve 2014 going into the year 2015. I was supposed to go to the club, right? Supposed to be turning up. You feel me? Like this is my first year out of undergrad. I got my first apartment. I was teaching, you know, thinking I'm grown, all of this stuff, right? Supposed to go to this one party club situation. It didn't work out. Something ended up happening where me and one of my very close friends, we ended up not being able to go. So we trying our best to get to somebody, anybody, anything, right? Something else bad happened, right? So then I was like, okay, well, this just must be a sign to go to church. And it was a random, like this month, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm used to being in church anyway. And so I was like, this just must be a sign that we need to go to church. But the church that I went to, like I visited while I was in undergrad, it was on the other side of town. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, we done already tried our luck at trying to get to the club, and, you know, watch night services, people camp out so they can get in. And I was like, and I remembered that there was a church down the street from my house that some people who I went to college with were familiar with. So I was just like, well, it's a church down the street. We can just try that since it's close. We got in the church, the E. Dewey Smith, actually, House of Hope, Greater Travelers Rest. We got in the church. He preached an awesome word, but we prayed going into the new year. He turned off all the lights. We just started praying. And when everybody like dropped down to their knees and like turned off the lights and like started kneeling and stuff, I was just kind of like, what I'm supposed to do. But in that moment, I just spoke to God as a regular, like I was having a regular conversation. I spoke to God like I was having a regular conversation, and I literally felt God's presence for the first time. So much so that it moved me to tears. So much so that in that moment, I made like my final decision, like, okay, I want to be a Christian. Because like I said, before then, I was never made to choose nothing. Was I atheist or none of any of the other things? Like, no, I visited church, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like committed to nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, but in that moment, I literally felt the presence of God. And I was like as I was crying, and I'm like, yo, I want to be a Christian. And I joined the church. And then I joined the church. And like I said, I got involved in stuff. And then, like I said, we had them ebbs and we had them flows. God is like, so I'm with you all the way. You don't have to wait on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm with you right now. You don't have to think so far ahead in the future. Like, I'm here right now. What's up? I'm here right now. What's up? And like I said, them storms will bless you too. And even things that are not ideal will bless you, because I finally got my own space, finally got my own place. I'm like, thank you, God. You know what I'm saying? I was praying one day and I was just like, you know, God, thank you for this house. Thank you for the peace that I have. And I was like, God, I just want you to use me. Please use me, God. Use me in whatever way you want to use me. You know what I'm saying? I am yours, God. And do you know?
He used you, didn't you?
The next day, literally, and this is no exaggeration. The very next day, that same friend who living room I was sleeping in on the floor got evicted and needed a place to stay.
Oh God.
And I'll be lying if I didn't tell you. I was like, God, I ain't mean use me this fast, and I ain't mean use me in this way, because I just got my own space.
Yeah.
I just got in here. I know I said you, but you couldn't use me like to give somebody some change. You couldn't use me, you know what I'm saying, to speak some words of it, like. And God said, baby, have you forgotten? You know what I'm saying? Have you forgot what I did for you through this person?
Oh, I'm setting you up for this.
And the Bible also teaches us the things that we go through them so that when we encounter somebody else going through them, we know how to respond. We can give to them what was given to us. We can do for them what was done for us. We can love on them the way that God showed his love to us, whether it was through somebody or in a situation, you know what I'm saying? But literally, again, like, I don't take anything for granted. I don't think that anything is a coincidence. I think it's all divine. And that is why now, like, I appreciate the storms. You have to.
A storm.
Appreciate.
Talk to us about what is keeping it popping for God and how you keep doing that every day.
Popping. We get it popping for God in prayer. POP is like an acronym for the power of prayer, because, again, like I said, prayer was the way that I became connected to God. Prayer was the way that I developed a relationship with God. Prayer is the way that I maintain my relationship with God. Prayer is the way that I, you know what I'm saying, can believe. Like, I believe that God hears. Like, and it was through prayer. You know, like I said, I didn't grow up saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Spirit. So there were a lot of things about church. There were a lot of things about faith, spirituality, religion that frightened me. It was not welcoming. Sometimes it was disingenuous. And in other circumstances or situations, I felt as though I didn't belong. Yeah. But me being able to pray to God, like me being able to do that, it learned me that you don't have to be a certain thing, or you don't have to have a certain status, or you don't have to, you know what I'm saying, speak a certain way or present a certain way, or, you know, like just put on, like, no, this is about you and God. And even sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like, people put these masks on or put up these facades, like, this is what Christians are, and this is how, you know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, what's popping? You know what I'm saying? Well, we finna get it pop. You know what I'm saying? And exactly, literally, I have friends that will call me with all types of just whatever things that they was going through, or, you know, like, want advice and all of this type of stuff. And again, this is at a time where I'm like, I ain't even advising myself, but we can pray because it works for me. Whatever time. So your stuttering, it don't matter. Yeah. Your lack of confidence, or your lack of assurance and some convoluted status or title don't mean nothing in right here. Mm-hmm. What you don't got, what you don't do, what you're not used to. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to edit videos. Like I said, I had, you know, speech stuttering, all of this stuff. But literally, I just decided to rock with God. I just decided to be myself. I'm like, do I need to learn like church vernacular? You know what I'm saying? Do I need to memorize? Like, no, do you? Because the people that I need you to reach are the people who I need them to understand you. And again, I done went into churches and heard people using
like the whole Swag on Point series. Like, I'm still every day battling with that, because God is, for one, I never want anybody to see me. I need them to see the God.
Say that.
And
say that.
A light that shines. And that's one thing that I appreciate about you, because even despite, you know, where I've come from, despite what I've been through, like, I have a light and it shines. And because I rock with God, I don't have a choice but to allow that light to shine. And so for somebody else, you have something on the inside of you that God wants you to do. And you cannot be afraid or timid to do those things. You have to know that you have a light that shines. God didn't call you for nothing.
The light that God puts inside of all of us is different. And all you got to be is that. I don't have to try to morph or transform into, like I said, a deaconess. I don't have to morph or try to transform into anything or anybody other than what God has created me to be. And being myself has made God the truth for people. Being myself has made other people see, like, hey, yeah, I can pray too. Being myself has, you know, shown people, like, I can love God and I can be me. I can have a relationship with God no matter where I'm from. Like, the people who go the hardest for me are the people from the hood.
And shout out to the ill meal, just while we're here, you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Tell you, without the people in Milwaukee, and my church sits in the middle of Tatonia, okay? Yeah. And without that support system, I wouldn't be here. So yeah, I'm doing this for the home team. I'm doing this for those people that feel like they probably can't do it for themselves. Like, you get power.
Like they don't belong. Right. Like they don't belong, like they don't fit, like they will never belong, or like they will never fit. And it's just like, baby,
your swag is lit. Okay, Ebony, please tell the people where they can find you, girl.
So I am Ebony McCovery on Facebook, EBONYMCCOVERY. That's Facebook. Instagram, you can find me at the number 4 Shizzle, the number 4 SHIZZLE _. I don't have TikTok and Twitter and stuff yet because I'm still in this doctoral program. So I'll be having to limit my distractions, but you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. Now you can find me on Swag on Point TV and wherever else the Lord is going to, you know what I'm saying, carry me.
Swag on Point TV, everybody. Have a good day.
Be yourself, because being like everyone ain't where it's at. That's the reason why I stay in my bag. God got me, he been watching my back, and I'm letting them know it's a fact that I got that holy swag. Counting my blessings, giving me speed and they giving me strength and they giving me power to fight through the rain. And I'm thanking the Lord for the gift that he gave me. This is a lifestyle, I would never let nobody play me out. Even like no other really, they be wild. And I'ma let the blessings rain down. That's holy swag. Yeah, I got that holy swag. Whoa, whoa, I got that holy swag. Yeah, I got that holy swag.